All right. We are live, you guys. Sorry, I'm dealing with my little kitty cat here. She's not fixed yet, so I think she's in heat. She just will not stop crying. So I was trying to wait her out. So I think she might be walking away. Anyway, welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos, and we are broadcasting to the world live from Phoenix, Arizona. Um, wasn't really planning on doing a Delphi live stream today because if you guys did notice, I put out that Idaho 4 video. So if you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. I wanted to kind of, I possibly wanted to do a live stream later on that case, but I watched a few videos today, people doing their own review on the Jerry Holman interview and kind of giving their own thoughts on that. And I'm noticing a lot of people are misrepresenting what Jerry Holman, they're basically twisting around his words. So it kind of makes sense why they're still continuing to use the Frank's memo as gospel. They're still, to this day, even though that it's been proven to be filled with lies, if you ask them why they think Richard Allen is an innocent man, they'll quote you directly from their book of lies, the Frank's memo. They even talk about the crime scene showing evidence of bloodletting. They quote the rope. They quote Patrick Westfall rubbing something on a tree in a video. Elvis Fields. They completely twisted his comments around. And come to find out, that's not even what he said, not even close to what he said. Very strange. What's up, Sensei? She Warrior, good to see you. Susan McLeod. Jill Moser, what up? Rescue, how you doing? Says she likes the thumbnail. Well, they got to lift up their guy, right? Their king of lies. King of delusion. What's up, Delula? Gamby's in the building. How you doing? Shane, how you doing? Welcome in, Sensei. Guess we can hit him.
We do not train to be merciful here. Mercy is for the weak. Here, on the street, in competition.
Yes, Sensei. What's up, Shadow? I'm doing well. I hope you're well. How you doing? Wife Lilith, happy early new year, y'all. Hope 2025 is good to everyone. Same to you, Lilith. Thank you. So I noticed there's a lot of people out there still pushing this narrative, even after listening to what Jerry Holman had to say the other day about how Richard Allen freaked out and was threatening folks that he was going to slice their throats. That didn't mean anything to anybody. That didn't stand out to Richard Allen supporters. What stood out was Jerry Holman talking about photos that were leaked. But he clearly states in the interview the photos of the clothing in the river that were leaked were taken by a citizen. So people want to twist those words as well. It's very strange. Yeah, it's gross, really. But I don't know if they're doing it intentionally. I don't know if it's clickbait. I don't know. I can't really figure it out yet. But it's definitely very strange. Good to see you, Lynn. Patty, welcome in. Miss Dog Lover. Anna, what's up? The vicious attacks against Lauren Matthias' interview with Lieutenant Holman are ridiculous. Such viciousness accomplishes nothing. Well, supporting a child killer is what it's all about. Anybody that doesn't go with that narrative It's fair game, right? Because they're evil. They're torturing an innocent man when it's clear as day. You ask them, well, why do you think that? Well, they didn't let the Odinism stuff in. Well, what Odinism stuff? Well, go read the Frank's memo. Well, which part? Oh, well, the part where they're doing a bloodletting. They hung up the girls. There was no blood at the crime scene, and they used a yellow rope. That's why there was no blood on one of the victims. Like, what in the hell is going on? It's the Twilight Zone. It's like, no wonder why you support him. You got a brain of mush. Trust me, I'm not the sharpest tool in the box, but at least I don't have a mushy brain. All they have are personal attacks since there won't be an appeal. Yeah, there absolutely will not be. You ask them, well, there's a good chance that this one might get an appeal. Okay, why do you say that? Well, the judge didn't let anything in. She didn't let in the Odinism stuff. Don't you know about Brad Holder? It's like, oh, Lord. Okay, well, what about Richard Allen? Did you look at the list of information regarding him? At this point, I think it's just like a group of people they're like, we all kind of went down the wrong road, but we found each other down that road. So we're just going to see this thing through. We made a lot of friends in our bad decisions. Can't just throw away these bonds. So Richard Allen is somewhat of an idol now. Good to see you, Red Sauce. At this point, I'm embarrassed for the Richard Allen fanboys, girls, whatever. It's time to stop. I'm more curious than anything. What I'm feeling is different than embarrassment. I'm truly curious as to how this happens. How are you still quoting the Frank's memo and you're so passionate about it? Then you have people pushing this narrative that Shane Meehan was into the religion of Asatru or into Odinism, or it's ridiculous. Like, don't lie to yourself. If anything, don't lie to yourself. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Shadow. Hang in there. I hope you feel better tomorrow. Better tomorrow than you did today. Oh, Psycho Rick. Psychosomatic. Well, the paperwork has just been filed. They are looking for his new attorneys, if they haven't already been selected. What else was there? There's something else I wanted to report. Question is, what was it? Oh, okay, here it is. Okay, this one relates to the crime scene photos and medical and mental health records. It says here, the court, having had the state's motion to seal and to keep confidential crime scene photos and autopsy photos under advisement, now grants the same. Court orders the crime scene photos, autopsy photos, and reports, and all medical and mental health records to be sealed and maintained as confidential. And that doesn't only apply to Abby and Libby. That applies to Richard Allen as well. What's up, right field? Gamby says Holman talking in general, but their defense people staying silent made their blood boil. Yeah, it sure did. They had nothing to say. Even the substitute defense attorneys really didn't come out and say much, because they look ridiculous too. One thing that Holman, what was his name? Hold on, I can't remember his name. Well, anyway, maybe you guys can help me out in the comments there. What was the name of his substitute attorneys? Remember they stepped in for a moment? You had Scremin and then the other guy. Well, the other guy said he had never heard of Odinism before. And he, 20-year career. Holman said the same thing. He said, I never really heard of that. Like, you've been in law enforcement this long, you've been an attorney this long, and you haven't heard of that? Now all of a sudden it's scary. It's this huge conspiracy. You got Shane Meehan killing one of these officers at an FBI building because of Abby and Libby. Like, this is just because it's gotten that big in your head and that convoluted in your brain doesn't mean that that's what's actually happening. Yeah, it's too simple, right? Occam's razor, it's just too simple for them. Nope, they can't have it. I feel like they're more enemies to themselves. They won't allow themselves to believe, or they got some type of complex going on, like a hero complex. Like, I'll save you, Richard Allen. I'll be the brave one to rescue you, Richard Allen. Just ask somebody, well, why do you support Richard Allen? Or do you just support due process? No, Richard Allen's innocent. Okay. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't on the jury. Why do you say that? Go check out the Frank's memo. Okay, I've read it multiple times. Which part? The ritualistic part, the sticks, the F tree, the rope. You mean all the things that have been debunked 100%? Those things? So anybody that's ignoring that and they're kind of showing you what their logic is, there's no need to argue anymore. Like, okay, if that's your logic, no wonder why you think Richard Allen is innocent. It makes total sense now. What's up, Linda? My cough is virtually gone. I get a little tickle in my throat every once in a while. Still a little congested, but I don't know. I went for a long walk today, so obviously I'm feeling better. What's up, Vegas? He also said, Sleuth, that there would be people out there on YouTube that would still twist the truth. One lie leads to a million more with them people. Yep, and he was right. He was 100% right. You have people talking about, what was another one that I heard? Okay, McClelland and Brad Holder. So I guess they're both Freemasons, right? And there's probably some Freemasons in this chat right now. And there's a photograph of Nick McClelland at the same Masonic lodge as the one that Brad Holder usually goes to. And there's a photograph of them at that same lodge. They're not even in the same photograph together. But yet they're going to, in their mind, that's the connection. They're connected. All right, we locked that one down. So we got Brad Holder and McClelland connected. 100% fact. It's like, no, you're being your own worst enemy. You're not even being true to yourself. Thank you, Vala. Shout out to Vala. Thanks for sponsoring today's live stream. Appreciate that. It's a crock of shit. They are not getting an appeal. Not at all. Not even close. Why would they get an appeal? Under what grounds? Kelly, my brain is mush. Trauma will do that. It gets better, though. No matter what story you want to invent for Rick, he cannot beat that timeline. Yeah, and let's just not make up stories. Let's just focus in on the facts. Like, it is a fact that we just found out Richard Allen flipped out for no reason and threatened to cut people's throats while he was in prison. A man who was accused of slicing 2 kids' throats is now threatening guards that he's going to do to them what he did to the girls. You don't hear them talking about that part. You know, the part that ultimately seals the deal for anyone that was on the fence about it. Because like I said, we weren't on the jury. We didn't get to sit there and see what they saw. But the Frank's memo, the Odinism, you mean everything that we've been able to touch, anything tangible in the Frank's memo was proven to be a lie. Westfall was not riding on a tree. The photo did not match the crime scene. Bobby Boucher's photo that he found on Brad Holder's Facebook, that didn't match the crime scene photos at all. Frank's memo mentions the yellow rope, trying to create a narrative of bloodletting. You know, they wanted to create this narrative that the girls were hung from a tree and their blood was drained. So each piece of misinformation has to be perfectly placed in order for people to buy it. And really, it's like a hook with a piece of bait, you know, for a fish. It's just kind of dangling there. It's your responsibility to walk up to it and kind of poke at it, you know, like, what is this? This doesn't look natural. I think there's a hook here. I'm not biting that. But instead, they just swam over there like a big mouth bass and just yanked on it. And now they can't get that hook out of their mouth. It's like it's in there. There's just no getting it out. There's no throwing that fish back. It's a flopper. Do any of them even live near him? Easy to jump on a crazy bandwagon when their kids and or anyone they love are not in danger. The rest of us paid close attention to the details and realized the truth. Not only that, we didn't lose touch with reality. You know, we realized that this is not a Hollywood script. This is not some kind of novel. You know, this isn't a thriller. These are victims who are just going about their day-to-day like we are today. Like when you woke up and you left the house earlier this morning, you came right back home, thank God. You know, when your kids go to school or when they go to a friend's house, typically they come back. Sometimes they don't. And the reason that they don't is because of people like Richard Allen. That's what we're talking about today. We're not talking about police corruption. Does that exist? Yes. Am I a fan of law enforcement? Not at all. Not even close. And I have my own reasons why. I'm not a fan of people in general. I don't trust them because of people like Richard Allen. They hide in plain sight right in front of you. He lied to his wife. You didn't tell me you were out on that bridge. Matter of fact, you told me a completely different story. And we heard from Holman's interview that that's pretty much what happened. Whatever Richard Allen told his wife about that day was a lie. Are Richard Allen's supporters going to talk about that? I don't think so. So you can lie to me all you want. Just don't lie to yourself. Cough, cough. Delulu says, and they still love doxing. Bless their, is that venal hearts? Yeah, they're sick people. They are sick people. We are talking about dark-hearted individuals. They didn't care about Abby or Libby. And they like to say that about most people. Oh, you don't care. If you don't agree with me that Richard Allen's being set up and that this is corruption and that it was a ritualistic killing and the Freemasons are covering this all up, then you don't care about Abby and Libby. Like, what the? Oh, that's your logic. No wonder why you support Richard Allen. This whole time, I thought that we were going to have some kind of great debate, but I see now that you're on a different planet. Now I get it. But Goal, she didn't let Richard Allen have his defense. What, you mean the Odinism defense? You mean the Book of Lies? Don't forget, Goal didn't allow the video of Richard Allen threatening to slice people's throats either. She didn't let in the fact that he refused a polygraph. Are Richard Allen's supporters going to talk about that? Of course not. Shane says, yeah, they've gone loco. With Jerry's comments about the crime scene photos, we knew they were the clothes in the creek. Come on. And do they not know it? Did their mind just block out the part where he said the photos that were leaked of the clothing on in Deer Creek? They just block that part out. What was another one that I've been hearing on YouTube over the last couple days? The Miranda rights. This idiot admitted that he didn't Mirandize Richard Allen when he clearly says, Richard Allen, you know that you've been advised of your rights. You're still aware of your rights, correct? And Richard Allen said, yes. I don't think the lack of the third-party defense is an issue. Too many push that and avoid discussion of more complex topics. Like what? I mean, I don't think we need to stop reaching. It's right there in front of us. Like, what are we reaching for? Oh, okay. Mustang says, I don't think some of the Richard Allen is innocent people don't really believe he is innocent. It's a front for their channel. Maybe they just like talking about the possibility of corruption. You know, maybe not necessarily for the Delphi case, but in general. Because I mean, I know for a fact that it does exist. We saw it with James Burke with the Long Island serial killer case. You know, he threw out the FBI, and come to find out, he was partying out there at Gilgo Beach with prostitutes and getting arrested and doing a lot of shady shit. But that's what I like to call evidence, right? There's evidence of malfeasance. Yeah, it's not so easy, huh, Delulu? Like, you still have people making videos about Kelsey. Like, it's hard to just let this case just fade away. Let Richard Allen just fade away into the history books. Yeah, I think that's what it's all about, Lynn. It's this cult that's been created. We've made some good friends. Maybe Richard Allen is guilty, guys, but boy, did we make some good friends. Bunch of crazy people. Slink, what up? I bet those who support this child killer are MAGA. Hey, I'm offended by that. They might be. I'm sure some are. It's one thing people try to do is, oh, look, their political alignment. But you have so many different serial killers throughout history who are either, some are Democrat, some are Republican. That's what I'm saying, guys. 1 out of 10 is a bad apple. Hi, Muwata D. Oops, fat fingers. What were you doing? Pounding on the keyboard? They want more money from the public. More money to accomplish what? It's like they have nowhere else to go, right? Where are they going to go? They can't come here because everybody will be like, stop talking shit about the victims' families, right? Like, stop doing that. I don't watch Sleuth Intuition because he won't let me attack the family. That's one of my favorite things to do. I think that might be what they like doing. I still think Richard Allen's never going to admit what he did. That'll put too much pressure on Kathy Allen. Like, all right, guys, I did it. I'll come clean. Now she can't support him. As long as she has all these nutties on YouTube and people who are willing to push that narrative, she's going to stay in denial. She kind of needs it. It's that dark-hearted part of it all. There's part of them that need this. They need the lie. That way they can talk about all the things that created the lie to begin with. The hatred for law enforcement, their love for conspiracies, their lack of critical thinking, the ability to make connections that aren't there, or to overlook coincidences. Hey, Vala, thanks for the donation. Shout out to Iceland. And Asutra has absolutely nothing to do with sacrificing young children. That's insane, by the way. I am new here. Welcome, Vala. I appreciate you. Yeah, let's ask Vala how many child sacrifices were reported there near you, where you live, Vala. If you say even one, I'll be shocked. What's up, Frank? It has been reported that the appeals court live streams their sessions. Gambies, the people they did have talk were embarrassing as all get out. What about the private investigator that was working for the defense team? Like, that was hard to watch. I felt bad for Bob Mata up there. He's like, yeah, yeah, what she said. I was like, what the? That was awful. Yeah, I think so, Red Sauce. I think he did offer. Yeah, you're right about that. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Glow. Scremin and Libredo. It was Libredo. He'd been he was an attorney for over 15 years and he had never heard of Odinism. But now that I looked into it, now that I read that convincing Frank's memo, it's scary. Oh, it's scary now, huh, buddy? Yes, it is scary. And it's a real thing. But I just found out about it today. Now that I'm on the Richard Allen case, I just found out about it. It never came up in any of my other cases. I never heard about it. But boom. Now it's the talk of the town. Thanks, Delulu. Scremin and Libredo. Thank you. Thank you. If I say something, they tell me to F off. Yeah, you can't say anything. I'm telling you, they still read the Book of Lies, the Frank's memo, and treat it as like it's gospel. They're still using it as factual information, and none of it has been proven to be true at all. Elvis Fields, for example, the defense attorneys put in the Frank's memo that Elvis Fields said, hey, if I spit on one of the girls and I could explain it away. They completely twisted his words. What Elvis Fields said was, if you find my spit, that's because somebody scooped it up off the ground and put it at the crime scene. So he was basically saying, hey, if you find my evidence there, it's because I'm being set up. He's not saying, hey, I went and spit on one of the girls. He didn't even talk about spitting at all. He said, if you find my DNA there, it's because somebody scooped up my spit from the ground. Just another lie. Oh, we're just going to go ahead and reword all this so that it fits into our narrative. If I spit on the girl, and because that's kind of what he says, right? So they're just twisting his words around. Just a little bend here and there, you know, nothing too serious. No 90-degree angles. Labraddy. Who dat? Shane, Val is our token Odinist. She'll be our good example. What's going on, Joe? Well, which is it, V? Is it Labrady or Labredo? Jer, what's up? He has a Labrado. We're all over the place. Mustang. If Baldwin and Rosie were dumb and dumber, the subs must have been Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Yeah, you can only blame yourself for swallowing that hook. You know, taking it hook, line, and sinker. I don't know who that is, Delulu. And I could care less about those people. Even if I did. Jennifer Ward says his wife knew the minute that video was released. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. She might have. His curiosity throughout this whole process, whether or not she was arrested or not, makes me wonder if she did know. But there's parts of me that say, no, it was easy for her to lie. You know, even if she did think that was him, That was all put to rest after he spoke to Dan Doolin and wasn't arrested, right? Like, I know for a fact my husband came forward. And here we are 6.5 years later, and he's not arrested. So obviously that wasn't him. And throughout the media, they repeated this over and over and over about the bridge guy looking like everybody in Delphi. Remember? They couldn't mention the bridge guy without saying, hey, he looks like everybody in Delphi. So that's just fuel for denial, right? Oh, the bridge guy looks like everybody, not just my husband, right? Not just Ricky. You know, starts to turn into like brainwashing. Oh, the bridge guy looks like everybody in Delphi, not just Richard Allen. And then, not to mention the way she reacted when he was arrested or right before he was arrested, you know, kind of refusing to give him a hug. We heard that she did eventually give him a kiss, but kind of being standoffish with him and asking why he lied to her about what he was doing there that day. Like, if you just add all of this information, it tells you the story of the killer, that Richard Allen is 100% the man responsible for killing Abby and Libby. The only question is, did he act alone? That's the only question that's out there right now. Did Richard Allen act alone? Did anybody help him? Was anybody part of the planning of the killing? Kagan Klein? You know, even shit, maybe they were together the night before. I don't even know. We don't know. Those are the things that were never touched on during the trial. And if you're an innocent man, those would have been the things that were focused on the most. What were you doing the night of the 12th? Well, I went to bed at about 9:30. I had a great dinner with my wife. I sent my daughter a text, or I called her before bed, reminded her about something. And then I went to sleep because I had a busy morning the next day. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't sound too suspicious. But then when you ask the people who are there to validate all that, I'm like, okay, well, then we need to call your wife up to the stand. We need to call your friend up to the stand. We need to call your sister up to the stand. Well, they're going to tell a different story. Yeah, he was kind of acting weird that night. As a matter of fact, he was downright mean. Something was really bothering him, and I couldn't tell what it is. Ooh, all this talking's making my throat tickle. So at this point, it's clear as day, especially after hearing what Holman had to say about Richard Allen freaking out in prison and threatening to slash people's throats, even making the motion. Yep, dark-hearted, Lynn. And Anna says lots of things in this case don't make sense. The elaborate Odinist saga is one of those things. I don't think it. What is it? Like, how is it even connected to the crime? I wonder if that's what the defense attorneys do when their client has confessed. Yeah, it does seem to kind of the timing. Right, we have the first confession, and then boom, we have the Odinism stuff. And remember, it was Richard Allen who brought that up to his attorneys first. Were there things in the discovery about people investigating that possible angle? Yes. Did the defense team find it and then start putting together this narrative and say, hey, look, we found something that was overlooked. This could be huge. No, that's not what happened. Richard Allen came forward and said he was being threatened by Odinist guards. And then they went and cherry picked everything having to do with Odinism that was within those documents. Why? Because Richard Allen was the puppet master. He set that into motion. What's up, Phil Bond? Anthony, good to see you. Pozo, in movies, this is a mastermind IQ 300 criminal who planned and executed the perfect crime. Richard Allen is just some guy. No one special. He just got lucky, and they find that hard to believe. Yeah, that's it. They can't swallow that pill right there, Pozo. That's it. That pill is too hard to swallow. Why, though? Is it the ego? Is it all of the work that was put into the case before Richard Allen was named, and they just can't let all that go? Like, what is it? Like, what you're saying is right, but how did they get there? I feel like they're caught up on something, you know? But they might be saying the same thing. Oh, Patrick, you're doing the same thing with the prosecution. You're taking that hook, line, and sinker. You're guilty of the same things you're accusing us of. No, I'm not. Joe Newman says, people crying about Westville. Where else are they going to send him? Yeah, isn't it ironic? It's like they complained and complained, and now it's his forever home. Frank's is a big pile of dookie. I mean, every piece of information that we were able to get our hands on and investigate was proven to be a bold-faced lie. In the Frank's memo, they said Westfall was writing a rune on a tree with some kind of substance at the height that the blood was found on Libby's tree. It's just a downright lie. Not only was it not at the height, he wasn't rubbing anything on the tree. He was trying to wedge an item in between the bark. They told us in the Frank's memo that they found a photograph on Brad Holder's Facebook from way before the crime took place that matched the crime scene identically. They were identical. Survey says that was a lie. Lie detector results said that is a lie. You are not the father. They also said that there was no blood found at the crime scene. And the reason there was no blood was because they were strung up and their blood was drained from their body using a yellow rope that was found at the crime scene. Yellow rope. Did you get that? Where'd the blood go, guys? Hey, sees through. Yep, no alibi. Not one. I mean, how are you going to expect a jury to believe that you're innocent of the crimes that you're being accused of? And of course, it's innocent until proven guilty. It's pretty easy to prove somebody's guilty if they don't have a defense, right? Like, what were you doing, bro? If you're not committing a murder, what were you doing? It's a simple question. Imagine going through that trial, as long as it was, all the information that they went over. And not once did Richard Allen come up there, or anybody for that matter, and say, hey, well, Richard Allen was doing this, 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 and that day. And not once did he seem off to me. I mean, Are you not even asking that question? That is the biggest part of this whole process, and nobody is talking about it. The lack of information is the biggest piece of information in this case. And to me, it's the biggest proof of his guilt. His silence. Everybody's silence, for that matter. What's up, DP? Some snake oil. Vala says the way they attack HTC's Lauren's interview with Jerry, just a disgrace. But why? Why are they attacking it? Oh, it's because he admitted that he didn't read Richard Allen his Miranda. Oh my gosh. And then he also admitted that the photos were leaked before Richard Allen was arrested. What photos that? What photos are those? Oh, we don't need to talk about that part. All you need to know is that there was leaked photos way before the defense team was ever there. All right? Just focus on that part. Don't ask any questions. Because you think Richard Allen is innocent too. So just go with it, okay? Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to ask any questions. I wasn't trying to be rude. Are you mad at me? No, but don't ever do that again. Okay, but we're cool, right? Yeah. Can I still hang out on your channel? Maybe. As a matter of fact, we'll make you a mod. You seem to have learned your lesson. Well, the whole reason for today's live stream, Shane, is because I thought after that interview, it would finally, some of the dust would settle. Finally, hearing about Richard Allen threatening to cut people's throats and flipping out and showing his true colors, like really for no reason. Like when people hear that, they're going to be like, wow, damn, that's crazy. Every time that he provides information about himself, Richard Allen is providing information that fits the profile of the killer of Abby and Libby. So it's like the less we know about him. So if you support Richard Allen, you definitely don't want to know anything. The less information, the better. Because anytime any information about him comes out, it paints the picture of a killer. Anna says the length and quality of writing in the Frank's motion was an insult to the court. In the Koberger case, the judge rejected a similar lengthy defense paper. Yeah, these cases are very similar, actually. Delulu says they don't want Holman shedding light on things. Yep, there you go. I think you hit it right on the head. Like, how dare you, put a roadblock in our parade? Holman's over here being ants at a picnic, guys. He's messing with my narrative. You guys, I watched Sleuth today. And I almost hit the thumbs up. I think we need a closed session. He almost made sense, that guy. Yeah, it's all a cult. This will be our 10-minute warning, guys. Yep. There's a pattern there, Lynn, for sure. There's definitely a pattern. A lot of family bashing. Well, don't you know that 90% of the time it's the family that's involved? Involved in what? What type of crime? They didn't go missing and then come to find out they were killed in the home. Oh, well, they were killed in the home. They covered it up. That's why they faked the bridge guy video. It's like it doesn't. Nothing you say will. Nothing matters. They have a spin to everything. So yes, it's true. 90% of the time, it's people that know the victim, right? Family, friend, maybe even a neighbor. But it depends what type of crime. Are we talking about a kidnapping, a missing persons? What's up, Christine? Shane says DP, Daniel Pearson. I owe you an apology if you're him. Yeah, that was another one. That was another tragedy. You had YouTubers who were so convinced that DP was the guy. And these are the same people who are bashing and supporting Richard Allen today. So remember, there's this pattern, guys, of family bashing, of accusing people and knowing 100% that they're guilty. That happened with Daniel Pearson. That happened with Ron Logan. So imagine this is like strike three, is what it is. But with these types, there are no strikes because they're never wrong. We're wrong. And it takes a real hero like them to go against the grain. You ever seen a salmon swimming against the current? Look at me. I'm beautiful and glorious. There's nothing glorious about forgetting about Abby and Libby and not allowing Libby to be a hero, because it's obvious that she was. And it's obvious that they stuck together. You know? That's not a narrative that was being sold to us. The evidence tells us that. Libby was obviously off the bridge. Abby is on the bridge. The bridge guy's right behind her. Libby could have booked it out of there. Pozo says only 5% of appeals are granted, and it's usually because of a jury mishap or new information has been found out. Yeah, usually it's an issue with the court. Like, let's say, for instance, the Odinism theory was thrown out, but in fact, there was a nexus, right? And it's clear as day. Like, we know for a fact that Brad Holder left work at 2 and was in Delphi near the crime scene, or maybe even on the trail. Hey, what's up, Mary? Vegas says all these Richard Allen people had their chance at the trial to take the stand and tell the story how Richard Allen was innocent, but all you heard was crickets from them. I mean, you didn't hear anything. What was he doing that day? How can you possibly expect to go through a murder trial and not talk about what you did that day? Like, he didn't even talk about what he did at the trails other than looking at the fish and watching a stock ticker. You know, why did you go to the trails? Why did you leave Peru and come back to Delphi? Like, it's no big deal. I'm not going to judge you for what you say. I just would like to know, like, what were you doing? How do you go through an entire trial and you don't even touch on that? And you still have people who are out there saying, "Oh, Richard Allen is innocent." Why? Oh, because it's the Odinists that did it and the cops are Freemasons. Duh. Like, oh yeah, well, that makes sense. If they're Freemasons, then yeah, of course it was them. It was some kind of ritual that had to be done at 3 on the dot. It had to be done right there where the girls were found. It was some kind of ritual that we just can't grasp, you know? It was written in the moon and the stars and the planets were just aligned, and it had to be right there at those coordinates, you know? That's how these Freemasons are, duh. You know, they always have an explanation. Because in my mind, any of these conspiracies that are out there, let's say people who are kidnapping children, doing bloodletting, they're not going to get caught. They're going to do it in a private facility. They're going to target somebody that's not going to be missed or somebody that doesn't really even exist on paper. They're going to do their ritual. They're going to dispose of the body. And it's not going to be somebody that's like a low-ranking person like Brad Holder and maybe Nick McClelland, maybe. He might be a little bit more up there. And just because I believe that conspiracies do exist, that doesn't have anything to do with what happened with Abby and Libby. Now, the only question for me with this case that remains is who else was involved, if anybody? You know, what's going on with Kagan Klein? That's the only piece that still fits. And the fact that Richard Allen, we now know, was in Peru, well, that's where Anthony Shots was created, in Peru. And during the interview, he wouldn't really comment on that either. Doug Carter didn't comment on that. Nick McClelland during the presser didn't really comment on that. And they keep asking them, hey, well, are you going to clear everybody now? Are you going to clear all these other people? Why? There's still a huge piece of this that we don't know. Richard Allen hasn't spoken one word about why he did this. Why would we clear anybody? The first word out of his mouth might be Kagan. You know what I mean? Why would I go around clearing Keegan Klein, even Ron Logan, maybe even these Odinist folks? Why clear anybody? The first sentence that he utters, you know, is this person helped me. Or if it wasn't for this person, this would have never happened. So why would you go around clearing people when you don't know all of the information yet? All you know is that Richard Allen is the bridge guy. And you know that the bridge guy kidnapped the girls and had something to do with their murder. That's really all they know, is that Richard Allen is the bridge guy and he's a kidnapping murderer. That's it. They don't know any of the why. Nobody knows the why. Yep, and there you go with the motive, Delulu. And if he's interrupted, I mean, for all we know, the girls are maybe even running towards the van, and he panics. Or maybe he hid. Maybe as the van was coming, maybe he tried to hide. And the girls were like waving their hands and took off running. Picked up their clothes off the ground and took off running. I don't know about you, but sometimes I have the music blared up and I'm not really paying attention. You know, I'm home. It's been a long day. Maybe he couldn't hear them yelling for him, or he really had no reason to look over to his left, but maybe they were just right there in front of him. And I'm talking about Brad Weber. Pozo says, can anybody explain how Odinism ties into the crime scene? I've heard no one talk about it. They just say Odinists exist, therefore they did it. Well, it has everything to do with the sticks. And it's not just the sticks alone. If you don't have Brad Holder's Facebook, the sticks mean nothing. And that's what happened with the defense team's investigation is nothing happened naturally, right? It was always something and then try to fit it into the narrative. Okay, we have this idea, let's see if we can fit it all into work. There was nothing that happened organically. Like they didn't look at these sticks and say, "Oh man, like that looks like some kind of Norse paganism or something. We should have somebody look into that." They may have gotten it wrong. Is there anything in the discovery that talks about ritualistic murders or anything like that? I think we should really look into that. Something's going on with these sticks. The defense team never did that. Like I said, Richard Allen came forward. He mentioned the Odinism stuff because remember, he's the crime scene expert. He knows all about Brad Holder. He knows all about social media's witch hunts and their discussions about ritualistic killings. And in his mind, he has a photographic. Well, he has the knowledge of the crime scene that nobody has. He knows what the sticks are, why they're placed the way they are. He knows why the girls were murdered. He knows why that location was selected. Nobody knows more than Richard Allen about the murders of Abby and Libby. And that goes for the 7 years after, right? All of the persons of interest, the DPs, the Brad Holders, the Ron Logans, nobody's going to put together a theory better than the crime scene expert himself. He knows that those sticks look like very similar to what was going on Brad Holder's Facebook. He knows that. Yes, he is, Mary. All right, let me go to a few more comments and then we're going to bounce. Let's see here. Yep, that's interesting. I'm still very curious what happened with the phone, the trophies. How do you pack rat every phone that you've ever had, but not the phone that you had on the day 2 girls disappeared? Does it happen? Yes. Could it happen? Yes. Could it mean nothing? Yes. Is it odd? Oh, yeah. Yep. And that's what this channel is all about, Vala. It's about making that common, like a common thought. 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. And that goes for everything. 1 out of 10 of your neighbors is a pedophile. 1 out of 10 of your neighbors is potentially a murderer, stalker, breaking the law with fraud, white collar crime. 1 out of 10. And that goes for anything and everything. Could be your neighbors. It could be people you work with. Some are your YouTube friends. 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Hey, the Saint. Good to see you. Yeah, not at all. I don't trust people as far as I can throw them. What's up, Hiawatha? You don't believe anything that he says? I definitely don't believe everything. What's going on, Scott? Laura, what's up? Good to see you. All right. Sorry, guys, if I missed you. What's up, Solar Chef Steph? Hope you're having a great day. Sorry I didn't get to all of your comments. That's my bad. Thanks for hanging out for the live stream. American Justice, welcome back. Let's see. They don't want to talk to me, Vegas. They want the echo chamber. They don't want to have to ask tough questions. At least, Pozo, at least. Catch and release is king. Not if it's a flopper. Hey, Ruckus. They'll move on to Brian Koberger soon. Oh, because he's innocent too, right, Ruckus? Good to see you. Dark Side, what's up? Says, I don't think she knew Richard was there on the trail the same day the girls went missing and everything. Yeah, I want to know about all of that. He's obviously lying about that. I don't know if it's to that extent, but yeah, you might be right. He might have told her, like, I was there the day before. You know, he's giving all these different versions of events. He's got different lies to different people. I don't think so, Slink. I have doubts that the wife even knew. Ruckus is so hopeful. Once his appeal is denied, they'll all go away. Man, I hope so. You think that's it? Is that the nail in the coffin? Because it's hard for me to go through YouTube looking for shit to watch, and then I have to see shit about Richard Allen. And I literally just watched the Holman interview. I watched it twice. And I took notes. You know, I stopped, I paused it, wrote down my notes, continued on. Then I watched it again and did the same thing. So I know what he said. And just to see people just blatantly twist his words, it makes total sense. It's like, no wonder you believe the Frank's memo. This is like a thing that you do. That's what you do. You just twist words to make it fit into whatever narrative feeds your conspiracy mind. Crazy. Can't take you serious when you do that. Sorry. Nah, they're just lifting him up. Crowd surfing. DP says if Kathy was home at 6 p.m., that creep could not have been acting normal. Yeah, that's how they hide in plain sight. That's how folks with personality disorders get away with certain types of crimes that they commit. They have this ability. And not all people that suffer from personality disorders are killers, but those who have personality disorders like psychopathy or something like that and commit a murder, they don't have any empathy. They don't, it's not bothering them. They did what they had to do. They're almost happy. Like, hey, good to see you, wife. Good thing I did what I did today, or you would know that I'm a sick fuck. I'm glad I did what I did, or else you would know who I really am. What's for dinner, babe? Give the wife a smooch, jump back on the couch, start flicking through the television, making small talk. The next day, did you hear about those girls? Weren't you at the trails? Yeah, but I left like around 12:30. I didn't go anywhere near that bridge. I should probably call the tip line, huh? Yeah, call them and let them know they might want to talk with you. Don't meet me at my house, Doolin. I got to tell you a different lie than I told my wife. I can't come down to the station. Like, he's definitely smarter than people are giving him credit for. What's up, Melissa? Anthony, good to see you. James Cope, good to see you, my friend. Free Radical. Yeah, it is ludicrous for real. Like a tabloid piece. That's a good way to put it. Hey, what's up, YouTube bad actors? Yes, it is live. I'm just very behind. I didn't put the timer on the chat, which I should have. The defense disseminated info to people like Rick Snay, who spread false narratives with abandon. Yeah, exactly. And no remorse to it either, right? We're telling you guys this is the Odinism stuff. We're telling you about these sticks. You don't believe us? Here's the photos. You know, it was all a strategy with total disregard for Abby and Libby and their family. And that's what's going on right now is a total disregard for them. It's not real justice to lie to yourself and to step into an echo chamber where you totally block out any critical thinking. How is that justice for Abby and Libby? It's just justice for you. And your new friends. Oh, we made so many new friends. We're united through Richard Allen. Whether he's guilty or not, we've united through Richard Allen. Maybe we can hold on to this until the appeal. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it. I'm going to zip through the chat real quick. I just want to make sure there's nobody else that showed up. Jari, what's up? Sorry I missed you. Like I said, guys, what's up, Shrooms? Do we know anything about his housing situation at Westville? General Pop? He's definitely not in General Pop, Shrooms. I can almost guarantee that. Melissa, good to see you. The Real Dragon, hello. Erica Morris, the PI for the defense team, has animal cruelty charges. Yuck. And is trying to say it's because of her work exposing the Odinists. Yeah, that makes sense. Of course it is. Of course. It was Jerry Holman. So welcome in YouTube bad actors. CJK, good to see you, my friend. Shrooms. Ruckus says F them all, block and ignore. What's up, Firefly? Andy, welcome in. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it. Always good to see you, Anthony. I mean, technically it is a cult. At this point, it's full-blown cult. Hey, what's up, badass? Somebody sobbing? Andy, welcome in. God. Yeah, you guys are out of control with the chat. Yeah, I agree with you, bad actors. That's why I'm hoping that part will kind of entice him a little bit to come forward and speak. The whole cat and mouse part of it all. Like I know things that you don't know. What are you willing to give me just for a small taste of that information? There's people that are going to be paying for the rights to his books and things like that. Yeah, there is a motion that's been put forward to get him some public defenders for his appeal. I wish I could. I got to get some food in my belly. But I did want to hang out with you guys. I watched too many freaking YouTube videos this morning of people twisting his words. I checked in on a couple of live streams yesterday as well, and they're still quoting the damn Frank's memo as if it's gospel. Like, when are they going to stop doing that? Exactly. Yeah, they better. All right, guys, that's it. If you're part of the replay crew, leave some comments. Let me know what you thought about today's live stream. Big shout out to all of you who continue to donate to the Cash App, the Venmo, the Zelle, all that stuff. That really means a lot to me. It doesn't matter the amount. Each time, it still makes me blush. All of my members, you guys also make this possible, and all you mods out there who work hard to keep our chat chill. It means a lot to me, guys. And all of you who just like to hang out and talk true crime, you guys are always welcome here. As long as you can follow just a few rules, simple rules, right? We don't ask too much of you around here. Yeah, it happens. Yeah, it happens. Trust me. It happens. But you guys, I'll see you again real soon. Go check out my Brian Koberger video I did today. It's pretty interesting. And I'll see you again real soon. Hey, what's up, Dan? The Curious Contrarian. These people that are obsessed with Richard Allen gross me out. Yeah, they do. We'll leave on that note. Good to see you, Dan. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. It was nice talking with you. If you need to get a hold of me, sleuthintuition@gmail.com. Peace.